So,
Oh, you like some candy, boy.
what is good, Griff gang? Big Griff HD here, but you can call me Rob, and if you are looking for the bestest and freshest content, then go ahead and subscribe, leave a like button if you enjoyed this video, and we are back looking at the weirdest Minecraft roleplay yet again. If you haven't watched the first video, I encourage you to go watch it in its entirety to get the full experience, but I'll give you a more summarized version. Robotic, now known as Director, is our protagonist and finds a Steve. Steve explains that he was blue, but now he's not, and needs Director's help to be blue again. Director builds a machine, and now Steve is blue. A few episodes later, we are introduced to Gold Steve, and it is here we find out that Steves are a race of higher power with different colors. Each color has a different power. Now, Gold Steve's plan is to capture different Steves and take their power. Gold Steve also destroys the world and transports Blue Steve and Director to the Golden World. And that's where we are now. Say what you want about the series, but Director knows how to make a cliffhanger ending. Also, in my first video, I said this. Honestly, I can see Robotic being a future porn director. And now he's not SWAT Robotic anymore. He's now SWAT Director. And listen, I don't believe in coincidences. Director and Blue Steve are now stuck in the Golden World with no way of getting home. Blue Steve has been stripped of his color, which means he is powerless. I guess this is what it looks like to be kicked out of the Blue Man group. Director and Whitewash Papa Smurf build a camp so they aren't out in the open. While they do this, Gold Steve is nowhere in sight. I get Gold Steve stole Blue Steve's powers for himself, but I don't get taking Steve and Director to his dimension. Like, he already has the power, so he doesn't need Steve anymore, and Director's just a human, so bringing them to the Golden World is basically pointless. And plus, he just lets them build in his world. He doesn't lock them up or anything. He just kind of like lets them do what they want. And as a self-proclaimed slave master, bringing over children from a third world country that doesn't speak any English, you have to put them in line, or they will try to overthrow you. Which reminds me, I gotta go tighten some chains. I'll be right back. Pro tip to any up-and-coming slaver, show no fear. That tip also applies to job interviews, street fights, and sex. For the whole video, Director figures out what to do next and calls Blue Steve crazy.
You're going crazy. You have gone crazy. Yeah, Blue Steve seems to be going crazy, guys. I don't really know what to tell you. Blue Steve seems to be going crazy. He's going crazy, guys. I'm telling you, he's gone crazy. Okay, yeah, he's gone crazy. Blue Steve's gone freaking crazy. Guys, Blue Steve's gone crazy. I'm telling you. I swear to God. Guys, Blue Steve's gone crazy. Blue Steve's, I'm pretty sure, gone crazy. Blue Steve! Gone crazy!
Episode 6 has a title even Trump and Eiffel 65 can get behind. Director and Blue Steve see a machine in the distance. Director takes it cautiously and Blue Steve running straight at it like he's never played the tutorial in any game, ever. Director hides behind a pillar after Gold Steve shoots a couple arrows at him, and Director repeats he doesn't see me, even though he's looking right at him.
Okay, he doesn't see me. I don't think he sees me, guys. I don't think he sees me. Guys, I don't think he sees me. He doesn't see me. He doesn't see me. He can't see me. I'm hiding where he can't see me.
Director thinks that hiding under the covers hides him from the sleep paralysis demon, and trust me, there was no way to hide from one. My sleep paralysis demon is a recovering sex addict named Harold, and it's also good to mention that I don't have sleep paralysis, and Harold is actually some random guy who breaks into my house at 3 a.m. But hey, what's the difference? If they both smell blood, it's game over. Gold Steve activates a machine causing lightning to strike this pod, and I actually didn't know this on my first watch, but if you look closely, there was a Steve in the pod. I guess it was Red Steve who's been stripped from being red. Now, in the best way possible, Director gives us an explanation on how Steve powers work.
So yeah, but each Steve is represented by color, and that color has a different part of them. Gold Steves are reliant on energy and are incredibly dicks.
The best way to shout out my video without obviously doing it. Thanks, man. Director also gives a brief rundown on other Steves. Possible foreshadowing? Who knows? Blue Steve feels a bit of his power come back, so Director makes the most impressive machine ever, and lightning strikes Blue Steve.
Okay, I locked him in. Hopefully that didn't attract too much attention.
Yeah, hopefully the bright lightning coming down from the sky to exactly where Blue Steve is doesn't give away your location. Hopefully. Director builds another machine and makes Blue Steve blue again. Director says he has to keep Blue Steve a secret, but I don't think he gets that luxury because of the big blue machine and, you know, all the lightning. For a short amount of time, Director's PS4 broke, but he got it fixed. The only downside is that his worlds weren't saved, so he has to make a new one. That's why the golden world looks a bit smaller. Anyway, he starts it back up with a new friend. Now, he's not a Steve, but he does talk. How he got into the golden world is unexplained, but I'm sure he'll be a fine addition to the crew. So, you know what? Let's see what he has to say.
I'm taking a turd, bro.
Okay, not what I had in mind, but it's a start. So Director shows Jace around and tells him what's been going on, but he's not taking any of it seriously. I know it's a Minecraft roleplay, but you can show a little respect to the best Minecraft actor.
I'm taking a turd, bro.
Alright, forget it. And forget it, he does, because Jace is not in the next episode. What happened to the Stampy Cat knockoff? Did he get lost in the plot? Did Gold Steve do it again? I don't know where this joke is going, but it's going. Director and Blue Steve are ready to fight Gold Steve. Both Steves are stripped from their color for some reason. It isn't really explained why. Gold Steve now has Green Steve and Purple Steve trapped in pods, and as Director gets closer, we hear a very familiar voice. Someone help me!
Wait, what the?
Someone help! Yes! It's your boy Steve Saga debut. Now, if you remember in my last video, I said this. SWAT Robotic, if you need help with your series in any way, like you need me to play a voice or just like a body, like I'm down to play and help out. And helped out I did. Director gets Green and Purple Steve out of the machines while Blue Steve fights off Gold Steve. Wow, that is a mouthful of a sentence. As Gold and Blue Steve fight, the golden world is turned into a war zone. The whole place is flooded with either lava or water. With Gold Steve weak, Blue Steve lures our golden boy into a machine Director made. It's the same design as the other machine used to give Steves their powers, but I guess for plot reason it kills Gold Steve instead of powering him up. Lightning strikes, and I didn't catch this while filming, but Gold Steve speaks.
You have not seen the last of me.
And just like that, the villain we come to know and love has fallen. At least he can die knowing Gold Steve did it. Blue Steve says he can use his energy to get the gang out of the golden world, so Director uses the same machine used to kill Gold Steve to power up Blue Steve so he can transport the gang to the overworld. And that is the end of Season 1. One thing Director needs to do is explain how the machines work and why the Steves need the machines. If the Steves are already born with the power, why do they need an external source to power them up? Also, if you remember way back in the beginning when Director met Blue Steve needed Director to build the machine, but Blue Steve gave Director the materials needed to build the machine. So why couldn't Blue Steve just make the machine himself? It would have been a whole lot easier. Also, how does Director immediately know how to make the machine? Throughout the series, you see Director make the machines with no explanation and no guide. We aren't given a backstory for Director, really. It's just him playing Minecraft. That's really all we got. I know Director says he's making a movie about this that goes in depth and explains everything in the Steve Saga, but I think it'll just be better just to explain it in the Steve Saga. It's not too late. Alright, back to it. Season 2 opens with the gang vibing in the overworld. Purple Steve is fishing, Blue Steve is walking on water, and Green Steve is just chilling in a tree. Honestly, I had no idea what to do, so I just chilled in a tree until it was my cue. So the gang agrees to power up Green Steve. It takes Director a few minutes to make the machine, and the whole time I'm just sitting there like, yeah, you build that machine. Yeah, you go, girl. Yeah, show him who's boss. I had no idea what to do. There was little to no explanation. The only thing he told us was in this episode we're powering up Green Steve. And powered up we did. Green Steve can now fly and is at 100%. If only his dating life was 100%, maybe he wouldn't be single. Why did she leave? The next episode opens with a philosophical question.
Back in the overworld. Actually, now that I think about it, how does that work?
And during my explanation, Blue Steve summons lightning every 10 seconds. Thanks, you big blue dick. So, when Gold Steve, I transported you to the gold dimension, he destroyed the dimension you're used to. Alright, and then when Blue Steve, and when I tell Director that his world that he knew, the world in which he grew up in, the world where he built his blue tree was gone, it gave us the most emotional scene in gaming history. Watch as this man copes with the horror. Everything you know from your other dimension, it's dead now.
Oh, that's not good.
He went through all the stages in Grief within seconds. So Green Steve and Blue Steve are feeling good with their power levels, but Purple Steve is feeling a bit down. But to balance it out, Director builds a machine that's supposed to like equally distribute the power. Before they fire out the machine, Purple Steve walks away from the group into the forest, almost like he's drawn to something. Possible foreshadowing included. The gang gets Purple Steve back and the Steves are ready to bring balance to the force. Director flicks the lever, lightning starts hitting Green and Blue Steve, but not Purple Steve. And when the lightning stops, Green and Blue Steve are drained, but Purple Steve is powerful. Purple Steve runs back to the woods like earlier, but this time he leads the group to something. I don't know what it is, but it's purple, and it has lava. And that's it. At the time of recording, that is all that is published. I think it was a good way to end Season 1, and a good way to continue to Season 2. I will continue to be a part of this series, so if you want to see more of me, give Director a sub. Tell him Griff Gang has his back. He's almost at 200 subs, so let's get him there. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want a part 3 to this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe for the freshest and bestest content on YouTube. Thank you all, and I'll see you all later.